Whatever you do with it is what you do with it. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure y'all prepared. So I want to show y'all a few articles, and I really need y'all to get in the mindset of self-sufficiency in all things. I'm talking about for men and women. Learn how to make your clothes. Learn how to make soap. Learn how to make paste for toothpaste. Learn how to grow your food. Learn how to, what else is essential? Learn how to use the natural elements for deodorant. Learn how to fast. Learn how to go into nature and identify plants. Learn different medicinal plants that's around the area. Like even myself, a lot of the herbs I usually get are outside of America. But the reality is, just to give y'all some insight, how they're doing a lot of healers and herbalists like myself is they're kind of shutting down the ports to get herbs. So it's a lot harder to get them. But I'm glad that's happening because now it's actually, and I should have been doing it, but it forces me now to really study more of the natural plants that we have here. It forces me now. So that's something I also been doing and picking up more is really going outside. And I've been going outside, but now I put more intentional purpose of going outside and identifying different plants around me. I don't know where everybody's direct location is at, but one thing y'all need to study is what wild edible plants do you have in your state. Study that. And I'm talking, and I'm telling y'all to. I'm not even suggesting. I'm telling y'all to study it because there's going to be a point where, and I'm speaking to y'all as people who I believe won't bend the knee to the system. Okay, I'm speaking to y'all as people I believe won't bend the knee to the system. Hold on, real quick. Somebody is making. Oh, there I got it. So I'm speaking to y'all as people who would not be bending the knee to the system. Therefore, you're going to need to learn different things to survive outside the system. Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
One thing you need to research is how far is a spring? How far is spring water, natural spring water from you? How far is it? How do I test spring water? And if it's too acidic, how do I clean it? Or how do I distill it naturally? One way you can do that is soak water in key limes, rocks, lemons, and Himalayan salt. That's how you actually can clean water. If y'all didn't know that. You need to know the different trees around you. Why do you need to know that? Because we use barks and roots all the time. So there are certain trees that yield bark that you can actually use medicinally to heal yourself. What plants, or not plants, but what leaves are around? Because there's certain leaves that you can use to actually heal wounds. Okay? So these are different things that y'all really need to start picking up on so that you'll be able to prepare yourself. Y'all know y'all can grow food inside your house now, right? Everybody know that?
Yeah.
If I was y'all, I would start doing that. I would start doing that. Because you know what's coming is something a lot of us for the most part is not expecting. Now I was sharing with my family the other day how they moving right now. They making everything go online. Now mark my words. Remember I said this. This is the first time you're gonna hear this. But I would not be surprised in the future if they actually shut down grocery stores and make the food more in the warehouse. And you're gonna have to start ordering all your food online.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that the other day because I had seen a post. I don't know. They say they've been doing this, but it was like this McDonald's that they basically fired all the employees and made it a whole virtual. You put in the order, come to the drive-through, and like the machines in McDonald's make it for the person.
And that's coming. And here's the kicker about that. If they do that, that would then enable them to actually start implementing certain type of cards. I don't know if y'all paid attention, but even the credit cards, they're no longer, for the most part, taking the chip. You got to tap it now. So they're trying to make everything accessible that goes to one system. Now, I'm telling you, don't be surprised where they're going to get to a point where they're going to actually start to attach people's DNA to everything. So for you to actually get food, you're gonna have to use a scan or something that's dealing with a chip. Now we ain't gotta go that. You know where I'm going with that. Well, you're gonna have to use the chip to actually start the scan to get your food, to pay your water bills. This is actually where they're going. They're going to what they call the metaverse, or they're going to technology for everything. It's gonna be a techno world. And the thing about the techno world is it's not gonna last long. So we're trying to get ahead of the game and prepare for the fall of that techno world. Well, we're already living off the laws of the land. We're living off nature. And we're just coming back to that place where we don't have to depend on man. Y'all follow me? So I really need y'all to get in the habit of just every day learn something that is good for your survival, because it's coming. And the most important thing out of everything I said is find your tribe. Find your tribe. Find people who are like-minded, who y'all can share ideas on how to pretty much create a temporary Goshen. Let me say it like that. A temporary Goshen, where everything going bad in the world, but because you prepared yourself, you're not affected like that. And there's been other people outside of our nation who've been doing this for like 10 years plus. The Black community is behind the ball. So let me show y'all some things. Let me share my screen. And this is about to blow your mind. First thing is this. Y'all see that? If y'all can see that, say yes. Get off mute and say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it.
Has anybody heard of this yet?
Nah.
This just happened 2 days ago. But it's on CBS News. It's on CNN News. Why are they not making a big deal about this? 400,000 gallons of radioactive water leak for Minnesota nuclear power plant. This happened. Now keep this in mind. They reported it March 17th, right? I want to read a little bit for y'all. It says Minnesota regulators said Thursday they are monitoring the cleanup of a leak of 400,000 gallons of radioactive water from Xcel Energy Monticello nuclear power plant. And the company said there is no danger to the public. Now, I want y'all to keep a couple things in mind here. One, why are they not saying where the leak was at? As far as where did the leak happen at? Y'all see what I'm saying? They're not saying where exactly was the leak happening. But if you go further into this investigation, you'll find that this water leak was actually leaking into the water system. Now keep in mind, this is the public water system. This is the sewers. Y'all follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Now keep in mind, Rashad, what date was this reported?
March the 17th,
What year?
2020.
Watch this. It says the leak was first detected in November last year. Why are they now saying something? Now, if y'all know the government like I know the government, if something was really in their control, they would not say anything. If something was really in their control, they would not say anything. But what they like to do sometimes is they'll put a report out there and then they'll make it seem like it's nothing. But it's not to lessen the fear of the community why they say that, but it's just to cover their face to say, we already told y'all that this was happening. So my question is, why are they now reporting this if this happened in November? Because they're trying to do damage control. Now, it's interesting because when you look at the diameter or the direction of what happened in Minnesota, what's going on in Mississippi, what's going on in Ohio with the derailment, you will see that these are all major points that really put half of America at risk. You got Minnesota up top, you got Mississippi at the bottom, and you got Ohio in the middle. And if you actually know the flow of the rivers and the lakes there, it actually affects half of America, even down here to Georgia. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Now, if you go into the details of what radioactive chemicals do, not only does it cause cancer, but it literally activates acidosis, and it is an immune suppressor. So we had chemical leaks in Ohio, 2 derailments. We had a chemical leak in Minnesota, and there's also one in Mississippi. And if you add the pollution from these factories, they are literally, somebody just come in. They are literally, oh, somebody just went out. They are literally tainting the air above, or we can say the water above, and the water below, which means they are giving us no room to survive. Everything is an immune suppressant. Everything is a lymphatic system deactivator. Everything they're doing. Why is this important to know? Because if they're taking the water above and they're taking the water below, look what else they're doing. Now, I want to show y'all something. I'll bring this up because this. Back in March 2022, now I just found this out myself, right? And the reason that I even look more into it, right, is because my children think I was trying to get some type of cereal, right? And I'm a huge advocate on reading labels. And so I read the label, and it was not necessarily nothing crazy as far as the ingredients goes that was in the cereal, but I seen something that I never ever seen before. And it said this food is bioengineered. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I've never seen that before. So I started doing my research on it because I know there's GMO foods, right? And they don't really put anything out there for GMO foods. You just know that it's not organic. But they started, and it wasn't even like it was hidden. It was bold. It said this food is bioengineered. So come to find out that they passed a law or an act in March 2022 that pretty much said they're going to start labeling foods that are bioengineered. But the kicker to that is they don't have to tell you what did they use to bioengineer it. Now, what I want to show to y'all is really what is bioengineered food. Is it the same? Is it the same as GMO, genetically modified? And believe it or not, it's not. It's a total different type of species of engineering. So this article is actually on 2021. Now, keep in mind, nobody really knew about no bioengineered food. They just knew GMO. But this was already in play 2021, which shows you they've been on this. So it says this. On January 1st, 2022, the federal bioengineered food labeling law will take full effect. Under the bioengineered labeling law, now peep this, it says certain food products that are made with GMOs will require a disclosure of bioengineered ingredients. Now peep this, it says the bioengineered labeling law, known formally as the National Bioengineered Food Disclosure Standard, or NBFDS, was introduced in 2016 as a federal response to state-level GMO labeling campaigns. However, this law is not nearly as comprehensive as either the state laws. It is meant to replace it is meant to replace Northern non-GMO project standard. So they're literally trying to go against those who label things as non-GMO. With a comparatively limited scope, categorically exemptions, and inconsistent labeling requirements, the bioengineered labeling law is insufficient to protect consumers' right to know what's in their food. Y'all see that? I'm not making this up. They're saying within this law, it's really insufficient that they actually protect consumers' right to actually know. Does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
So what is bioengineered food? Bioengineered food is the federal government's new term for GMOs. Now keep in mind, we're going to read it, we're going to see that it's actually different. It says, under the bioengineered food labeling law, certain bioengineered foods containing detectable modified genetic materials must disclose the presence of bioengineered ingredients. Now keep in mind, they're not actually telling you. They're not telling you the actual ingredients. All they have to do is tell you that it's bioengineered. It says the clause detectable modified genetic material is crucial because it excuses many products that are made with GMO from making this disclosure. Many products made with new GMO techniques, such as CRISP or TALEN or RNA, are currently untestable. So they're saying any genetically modified or bioengineered food, this new version of it is actually very undetectable or untestable. I'm sorry, untestable. You know, they're not even able to test. They're not even able to test if it's actually okay for humans to eat. It says without a commercially available test, the modified genetic material is undetectable, and thus those foods wouldn't require a bioengineered label. So if y'all keep in mind, it's saying this, it's in there, but because it's undetectable, they don't even have to put the bioengineered foods on. Ooh. If y'all get that so far, come on and let me know. Tell me what y'all think so far.
Makes me feel paranoid.
Absolutely. Anybody else? What you see right here, how does it make you feel?
Speechless.
Rashad, I know you got something. What you feeling over here?
Yeah, man, my mind's spinning right now. But the main thing that really jumps out to me is one of your famous phrases, man. Tribe up or bow down.
There you go. There you go. Anybody else? I see Atara's on here as well. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. How are you? How's everyone doing?
All is well. All is well. Chrissy, I see you as well. How y'all feel about this so far? What we're reading?
It's scary, you know. It's scary that we're living in these type of times, and it's not gonna get any better. You know, you may think you can go to the store and get a bag of apples or a bag of oranges or some fruit and vegetables, but do we really know how it's grown unless you grow it yourself? So it's just scary, and it's something to think about when thinking about the future of living here. That's what's going through my mind. You know, if I can try to avoid eating that type of thing by moving out of the country, then that is definitely something that I'm definitely going to consider with my family. Because I can't. It's sickening.
And that's what it really comes down to is either you want to have to learn how to grow your own or mold your own. I don't care if you eat meat. You need to learn how to cattle, whatever the case is. If you're not doing that, then yeah, the other option probably would be to go. But here's the thing about that. Now I'm not gonna get into it too heavy today, but if y'all really know, there actually is a report out there that there's a global food shortage. There's a global food shortage. And I'll tell you, as one who has lived and traveled across the other side of the world, the American way of life and system is flooding and influencing everybody, including certain Africans. So what it comes down to, as Rashad had beautifully put it, my famous quote, it comes down to this: tribe up or bow down. Because no, you can run from here for a minute. You probably will be good for a while. But the reality is eventually it's going to come to you, wherever you go in the world. And if that's the case, then what should you really be doing? And I just want y'all to all think about that. I'm for anything. If you want to leave, do it. But here, understand the laws out in the other worlds are totally different. Believe it or not, for so-called diaspora and African Americans, that protection or sense of protection that we may have over here to a degree, it ain't the same over there. So just think about all that. I'm saying this not to scare y'all, not even to make y'all paranoid, but to prepare y'all. And I'm preparing y'all because y'all need to start preparing others. Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it says this: additionally, many processed foods contain highly refined ingredients made from GMOs. The processing often leaves no detectable modified genetic material. Now, I want y'all to keep this in mind. It's saying genetic material. Where can you get genetics from? Somebody answer that for me. Where can you get genetics from?
A living thing.
A living thing, but let's be more specific. What type of living thing? Anybody can answer. What type of living thing?
Human, right?
So they can be putting human genetic material in your foods, which we know they do that in McDonald's. Or they could be putting animal genetic material in your foods. Detect it, that means we can be eating unclean things, even in our apples and vegetables. Even in our apples and vegetables. This is where we at now. This is exactly where we at now. And it's so deep. Watch this. It says, have no detectable modified genetic material behind the final product. And therefore, those products also would not require a label. Common household products that contain ingredients such as sugar made from GMO sugar beets or cooking oil made from GMO canola will fall into this category. So they're saying even down to your sugars and your oils, if these genetic materials is not detected, they do not have to put a label on it. So are you telling me now I gotta learn how to make oils? Yes. Yes. And we should be staying away from the sugars in the first place, right? At least the complex sugars. Because our sugars is where? What do we find
Our fruit.
Our fruit. There we go. Our fruit. Our vegetables. So it says, which bioengineered foods will be labeled and which won't. Now keep in mind, this is a short list. But it's something interesting about this specific list because what we do not see on here is flesh. See, y'all gotta understand the whole vegan movement in 2017 was a business power move. It was big business. Not to say that Black people wasn't on veganism or plant-based or vegetarianism before then, but we saw a big mass change, including myself, during that time, where more people were health conscious, where more people were getting into veganism, and they started capitalizing, making Impossible Burgers, Beyond Meat material, all these different genetically altered foods that created something that was similar to meat to help you so-called transition. But it really didn't help you transition. Really, matter of fact, it actually left a lot of vegans worse than those who ate meat. It was causing cancer faster in those who were so-called vegan versus those who ate flesh. And we did not see the agenda. And I get it, because we all on this health kick and we just moving, we're trying our best. But we got to start studying and understanding our enemies. Why is everybody doing this now? Why is everybody getting on this wave? And the reality is, you got to understand society programming and engineering, social engineering. You understand? So let's look at some of these foods: alfalfa, Arctic apple, canola, corn, cotton, eggplant, papaya, pink pineapple, potato, salmon, soybean. And I just saw something on salmon. It was crazy. They actually making they're doing bioengineered salmon, but the root or the nucleus of this salmon is ill, y'all. It's ill. Now we know for
That's disgusting.
ill is unclean. If you don't look, you don't gotta believe me. Look it up. They just came out with this video last week. They are literally not. And keep in mind, salmon was really the last piece of flesh as far as mainstream that was not necessarily cultivated in a genetically modified version. A lot of it was wild caught, transatlantic, all that type of stuff. But now they even have made salmon now bioengineered, and it's not even from the actual parent of salmon. It's from an eel. Let me look it up. Look it up. Soybean, which we shouldn't be eating soy anyway, right? Summer squash and sugar beets. So y'all see a lot of these on here we eat. We eat apples. We eat alfalfa. Some people eat corn, eggplants, papaya, pineapple, potatoes, red potatoes, right? Summer squash. This is stuff that we eat. So you see, nobody is safe at this point. It says the list determines which food are considered bioengineered in their most basic raw form. However, the way that the bioengineer law is written, with exemptions, loopholes, and technical limitations, many products made from these bioengineered ingredients will not require a disclosure. And that's what I wanted to show y'all on that. That's what I wanted to show y'all on that. So they're gonna have foods that they don't even require you to even report what's in there, y'all.
Maureen Slicker, I'm sorry. So my video went out, so I didn't quite hear the list that you were reading. I didn't hear what was the reason why you were reading it. Can you repeat?
This list right here, can you see it? Are you still there?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So do you see the list?
Yeah, I see it now. Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is pretty much, they was kind of giving a short version list of foods that's bioengineered where they don't have to put the label on.
Wow.
And I was telling them, if you look at most of the list, a lot of this on the list is the stuff that plant-based eaters eat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You see that?
Yeah, what's BT eggplant? What's that?
Where at?
What is it?
What were you looking at?
The two initials next to the eggplant. It says BT eggplant. What's BT mean?
You kind of sound far out, so I couldn't really hear you.
I'm sorry. All right, so it says eggplant, right? But is there a specific kind of eggplant? It just says BT. I don't know what the BT stands for.
It's pretty much the regular eggplant selling the store. They only sell one eggplant.
Wow.
Yeah, they only sell one eggplant. Just like the Arctic apple, most apples is from the Arctic. They say California, Florida, but a lot of it comes from the same exact place. So don't pay attention to necessarily like the ring spot virus resistant papaya. They only sell one papaya. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this we have to be aware of. And if you see down here, it says this: animal feed, pet food, and personal care products are all exempt. Animal feed, pet food, and personal care products are all exempt from the bioengineered labeling law. Some foods for direct human consumption are also exempt, such as flesh, poultry, and eggs. Multi-ingredient products, which meat, poultry, or eggs are the first ingredient listed, are exempt. Even other ingredients with detectable modified genetic material are included in the product. Y'all see that? I'm not making this up. This is not my report. This is not me saying this. This is what they're saying. This is what they're reporting now. Y'all see that?
Wow.
This ain't me. This is them. So this is another thing I want to show y'all. Anybody heard of this right here? Uh-oh, let's see. What, Sean? What's that?
Can I mention something right quick, bro?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, man, like over the past recent years or so, like with a lot of this these vegan junk food products, it's like nowadays, everything pretty much when you look at the ingredients, they're slapping canola oil and like all of the stuff. Because I remember like some certain products I used to consume, like back in 2017, 2018, it didn't have canola oil on the back of it. But I recently just went through to look back at it, and now I'm seeing that everywhere now.
Yep.
And so it's like it's by design. Yeah. It's not a coincidence that we're seeing it. Like for an example, I used to consume a lot of Dave's Killer Bread, and it never had it on the back. But now, I said like a few months ago, I just happened to grab it and look at the back of it, and now it's up there. And it could have been there all along, but they're now putting it there.
Right. Y'all see it. Y'all hear it. He's staying in a whole other state.
Yeah, I was this coming from somebody who was a vegan junk food addict. I mean, I'm now like completely plant-based, but yeah, I was on that vegan junk food heavy. And I'm talking about the burgers, the breads, the pasta, the fake fishes, all that stuff. Gardein, Beyond Meat, Field Roast. Yeah, it was real. And that stuff was more addicting to me than when I was on the chicken and the tilapia and all of that.
There you go. See? And that's because they put a lot of additives in there. A lot of additives.
Absolutely.
So thank you definitely for sharing that. Y'all see this is going across the whole United States. So y'all see what's on the screen?
Yeah.
Wow.
Y'all see what's on the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody know what Jim Crow laws is, correct? Does everybody know what the Jim Crow laws is?
Yeah.
So I ain't got to go into too much detail on that. But long story short is the district government there, the elected officials, the judges and prosecutors are they've literally passed an act. It's called House Law 1020. Repeat again. It's called House Bill Law 1020. They have passed a bill where Jim Crow can now be in effect in Mississippi. Now, the thing about this is the president does have to sign off on it, but just think about the idea behind it. Why are you passing that type of law in this type of time? Think about that. Now, I want y'all to think about this. If this is the case, where when they are passing laws like this statewide, you don't think this is going to catch wildfire everywhere else? That people are bold or the government is bold to even put that out there? Now, let me refresh y'all memories. If y'all go back to the 1960s and 70s, even a little bit before slavery was over, You had state officials, you had city officials that were really warned against the national government on passing certain laws during the time of Abraham Lincoln. And they still was doing slavery up until the 1970s. They still was doing slavery. And so I'm just trying to show y'all, even though on this type of level, what we are preparing for. Tribe up or bow down. That's where we at with it now. Everybody understand?
Yep.
All right, so now that let me stop sharing my screen real quick. Now that we've gotten past that, I just wanted to kind of update y'all if y'all wasn't updated on what's going on in the world. And this is serious. This is so serious. And this is nothing to play with. So with that being said, now I want to really go into the lesson. This lesson is called the oneness of the gut and brain. Over the last almost year now, I've been really focusing on understanding the gut. Now, when I started studying years ago, one of my most recent teachers, he always would mention that the gut is the second brain, or the gut is a brain, or you have three brains. You have your heart, your mind, or your brain, and you have the gut. These are your three brains of the body. But as I'm studying, right, and I'm really starting to get into the depths and nature of the gut, I've actually come to realize that the gut is actually the first brain. The gut is not necessary. And here's the deep part. The gut can actually function on its own. Even if the body was dead, it can function on its own. And the reason for that is you're going to find out is because we, even in our body, outside of our human cells, we have another entity that assists us. And this is how powerful the Creator is, because he literally gave us a helpmeet within the body. And that's deep. Now, the reason I want to totally eliminate the brain within the skull is because what we'll come to find out throughout our research today is that the brain and the gut are one. You cannot actually separate the two. It's like a man and a woman when they get married, they're one. They're considered one now, and they function off one another. Well, that is your gut and your brain. You cannot function. Your gut cannot function without the brain, and your brain cannot function without the gut. And what I mean is, and because I want to sound like an oxymoron, because I just said it could function on its own. But what I mean is, the gut needs your brain to help send out signals throughout different parts of your organs in your body, right? But it is the gut that actually signals the brain to send these messengers out. That's deep. Y'all follow me? So we're going to go over the importance of the gut, but you're going to see how really, I'm going to just make a bold and plain statement. All diseases, every last one, all diseases start in the gut. They start nowhere else. All diseases start in the gut. They start nowhere else. They start nowhere else. And when you look at what consists of the gut, you'll see why I say that. So before we get to that, I want to pull up the gut so y'all can see what consists of the gut. I want y'all to see what consists of the gut. All right, here we go. Open another tab. All right, can y'all see this? If y'all can see, I can't see y'all. So if y'all saying something, I can't really hear y'all.
No, I can't see it.
No.
Let me do this.
No.
My bad, y'all. This is me. I forgot to share my screen. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So y'all see where my arrow is at?
Barely.
No.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
by the mouth, like the teeth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, y'all, although they call it the digestive system, this is where your gut starts. This is actually where your gut starts. The minute you put something in your mouth, you have a gut reaction, what they call a digestive system reaction or response. How do we know this? Because the minute you start to smell something, what happens in your mouth?
Saliva.
Saliva. Well, here's the thing about the saliva in the mouth. On a pH scale, it is alkaline. And when you actually look at the purpose of the saliva, it is only created to break down alkaline foods. I'm going to say it again. When you look at the saliva on a pH scale, it secretes, once it starts to smell something, it starts to secrete itself because it's getting the digestive system prepared to consume, to break down nutrients on a micro level. So it secretes, it's not because you're just hungry and thirsty, but it's literally functioning to prepare your body to break food down. But it's only made to break down alkaline foods. Or simple structured foods, let me say that. And then we go down, esophagus, you got your liver and your gallbladder in here, you got your pancreas, you got your descending and ascending colon, your transgress colon, your large intestines, your small intestines, right? You got your anus, your rectum, right? All this is your gut system, or what they call your digestive system. Right here is where the gut starts. It starts from the mouth and it ends at the anus. Y'all follow me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is what your gut looks like. This is your gut. This is your gut system. Now, does it look like a huge, huge system? Huh?
Yeah.
No, it's actually not. It's long, but it's not huge.
Okay.
It's long, but it's not huge. This is a simple structured system that is created to break down simple structured food. Can you imagine a big ass piece of lamb going down this part right here? I'm for real. Can you imagine that? I'm just being honest. Can you imagine that?
No, not really. Based off of seeing that, nah.
And if you can imagine it, can you imagine that this will stay in its natural shape while it's going down?
No, it's stretch.
Now keep in mind, if your gut starts at your mouth, that means you have to have the certain teeth structure to break down whatever food that you're consuming. Now let's be honest with ourselves. Do we believe that our teeth are created or can grind down meat till it's watery? Can we do that?
No.
No.
So that means by nature, when we're consuming it, it's already going down very complex, which means by nature, this area of the gut will have to stretch out. And since this part cannot break it down, it will start to stretch here. And once it goes to all these areas, now look at the liver and gallbladder and your colon and your intestines, it will stretch because it's having a hard time breaking it down. Even when you get to your pancreas or your iris and Langerheimer and you're secreting these enzymes and it's trying to break down the food so it can break it down to a micro level to strip that substance of its nutritional use, it's going to have a complete hard time to break it down because it's so complex and your enzymic reaction is not made for complexity. Y'all follow me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just a little rundown on the gut as far as is what you see. Now this is important to know because once we see this and we go into the role of the gut, you will see how miseducated we have been when it comes to holistic health. even on a medical level, I believe certain doctors are super miseducated because they look at certain everything's complex when the body is not made complex. So let's go to the role of the gut. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was an article made by this doctor right here. Cell Story, a medical doctor, a hepatology and gastroenterology for the University Hospital, right? This is what she said. She said, the human body is colonized by thousands of diverse microbes, including bacteria, archaea, eukaryotic cells. Also, she forgot to add prokaryotic cells and viruses. Now that's interesting to know that the body already has certain viruses. We'll get into that. It said these microorganisms are spread across multiple body sites, including the gut, the mouth, the genitalia, and skin. So are you telling me that my bacteria, these microorganisms start in my mouth? Yes. Yes. And you can tell once you start to understand the nature of dis-ease, which I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna go to the end, but bring it back. What it comes down to is that this is all about imbalanced bacteria. I'm gonna say it again. When it comes down to it, this is about imbalanced bacteria. Y'all follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So this bacteria starts in the gut, which that's where most of your gut microbiota is. It starts in the mouth. It starts in the genitalia, and even for females, it starts in the vagina cavity, and it starts in the skin. Now, why that's important? Because even when a woman is giving birth, it is imperative for her to have a natural birth, and not just a natural birth, but a birth where she's allowing gravity to naturally push out that baby. That's probably 50% of the reason why most women get C-section. They don't have enough gravity to push that baby out because they're on their back. But why is that important to know? Because this is where, and you can research this, this is where the baby actually gets its microbiota from to start building a defense once it comes out of the vaginal cavity to be protected into this world. Y'all follow me? So if you understand doctors push more C-section than natural birth. Several reasons why. First reason is they get about $10,000 for natural birth versus a C-section, they get about $35,000 per C-section. Secondly, when a woman is laying on her back, she does not have gravity to push that baby. Therefore, because that it will actually cause her to possibly have to go into a C-section because we don't want her to rupture. But so when she does not go through a natural birth and the baby has to come through that C-section, guess what that baby won't be able to have? Anybody guess? Anybody guess? If the baby comes by way of a C-section, what would that baby not be able to have because it came by way of the stomach?
The microbiome.
Here we go. So the baby already comes out defenseless when it's through a C-section. And then the doctors put artificial lights on the baby. So that also weakens the system. And then they put these plastic gloves on that does not have natural bacteria, but chemical complex bacteria on the gloves. So now they're getting bad bacteria on them. And then the bacteria that they did at least have coming out the mother's womb, they wash it off immediately. When really it's supposed to stay on that baby for 2 to 3 days. The baby is actually supposed to get caught with bare hands so it can actually get the bacteria from the hands. The baby is naturally supposed to come through the vaginal, because when it comes through the vaginal, that bacteria from the vaginal actually wipes the eyes of the baby. It puts the bacteria in the mouth of the baby, in the nose of the baby. Therefore, it gives the baby good bacteria to be able to defend the baby's self once it comes out. This is why they made the cream. They're trying to duplicate the woman's vaginal bacteria. So when we start to get down to the nuts and bolts of this thing, they are trying to make us defenseless on all levels as soon as we come out the womb. Because the next step is they're trying to promote you to get a vaccine. Maybe a vaccine. Then for men, they want men to get circumcised on the first day, which also weakens their immune system, because you know the penis is a gland, and it does have a mucosal membrane for protection, but it is produced at its strongest on the 8th day. What does that remind us of? The Bible. Every male child must be circumcised on the 8th day. Why? Because on the 8th day is where vitamin K is produced the most in that male child's life. So if you circumcise me on the first day, you're not giving me a chance to create a strong self-defense in my body. And I did not come out my mother's vaginal canal, which doesn't give me the right bacteria. Then you touch me with plastic gloves, which give me bad bacteria. Then you shine artificial light on me, which weakens my immune system. They're making us come out literally naked. And wondering why babies at 6 months are coming out with diseases. Because we are being taught all wrong how you actually start to train and strengthen the immunity or the lymphatic defense system in the body. But we also been taught that bacteria is bad. But what you're going to find out, that's why when you look up germs is bad. But germs is nothing but bacteria. Bacteria is fungi. Well, if I'm made up of bacterial fungi or gut microbiota, how can that be bad for me? This is the same teaching they try to teach us when they say mucus is bad. Mucus is the root of all sickness. But how is that when the Creator created me to have mucus for self-defense? And when I tested mucus on a pH level, it is alkaline. So how is it that it's bad for me? How is mucus bad for me? How is bacteria bad for me? And when we start to look at the nuts and bolts on a microscopic level, you will realize they are lying to us and they are weakening our will to self-heal. They are lying to us and they are weakening our will to self-heal. You understand that? I know that was a lot I just said, but I hope y'all caught it. This is recorded today.
I got it.
Oh, you can go back if you need to. So it says this. Going back to the article, it says this. Each body site is characterized by different microbiome environments with different functional roles. The gut microbiome is the most studied human ecosystem to date. It is primarily compromised. Now, keep this. We're talking about the gut microbiome in the gut. Now, remember, the gut starts where, y'all?
The mouth.
Your mouth. So it says this. It is primarily compromised of mainly bacteria and bacteriophages. Research over the last decades have extensively expanded our understanding and knowledge of its composition and has shed light on its many important functions for human health. So it says this, the composition of the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome includes more than 1,000 different bacterial species. So that tells us what? Bacteria is what, y'all? What is
Living.
Huh?
She said good. I said living.
Both of you are right. It's good and it's a living organism. So if it's a living organism, that means this living organism has its own mind. has its own heartbeat. It poops, it pisses, it's hungry. So that means we would have to know the nature of bacteria to know how to feed it. Y'all follow me?
Yes.
So we see there's 1,000 different species of bacteria in us. And not only that, we are made up more of bacteria than even human cells. And most of your bacteria is stored in the gut. And if bacteria is a living organism and bacteria is a microorganism, then my question I want y'all to ponder on, and then what is parasites? Ooh-wee. Can you catch parasites? Or do you actually birth parasites? So it says this.
Wow.
Of these, bacterial redites and firmicutes are the most abundant in normal health gut. A handful of taxa are generally dominant at the lower taxonomic levels. However, so it pretty much is saying predominantly most of your gut species or your bacterial species is in your lower gut. Okay? It says, however, the composition of these microbes varies considerably, leading to a strong inter-individual variation. In addition to the few dominant genera, many less abundant taxa are common, including, I ain't gonna say all the names, y'all can read it. Research has shown that the abundance of bacteria does not necessarily reflect its function importance, as variations in both common and rare taxa increasingly are found to associate with host health and function. So what they're saying is this: based upon the bacteria, they increasingly found, they said, that the level or function of your bacteria that actually determines the host's health and function. I'm gonna say it again. It ain't just your blood. It ain't just your kidneys functioning correctly. It ain't just your adrenal glands and your pineal glands and pituitary gland. They're saying predominantly based upon the level of functionality or health-wise of your bacteria actually determines the health and function of the host of the bacteria. It said good or bad microbes. Labeling specific bacteria as good or bad for the host is difficult and perhaps not achievable above strain level because of the high interspecies function variation. So what it's saying is this: they're declaring to y'all, you can't necessarily say bacteria is bad or good because it really depends on the functionality of the bacteria. Now, what we're going to find out later is, based upon your environment, here we go, based upon what you eat, you actually going to determine if your bacteria in you will be good or bad. And based upon the function of that bacteria will determine your health and function. If y'all got that so far, come off and say, I got it.
I got it.
I got it.
I got it.
This ain't too much for y'all, is it?
Nah.
No.
It's digestible? No pun intended. It's digestible for y'all?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's simple material.
I feel like it's bringing everything to a circle. I mean, not to a circle, but to a head.
There you go.
Yep.
Which that means that we're seeing is the head starts where? Where does the head really start?
In the gut.
Oh, wait. So you telling me the head don't start in the brain on my skull? Nope. It starts in the gut. It starts in the gut. So it says, variations at the strain level can determine if a toxin is detrimental or harmless, as seen for Escherichia, which is commonly found in the gut of humans with good health, where it aids in metabolism. So hold on, you telling me that my metabolism is not just based upon my thyroid, but based upon the bacterial level and health of my bacteria, that it can also determine my metabolism, and not only determine my metabolism, but it is literally based upon my gut? Yes. How do we know that? Because we can definitely tell when people are huge or obese, they have more trouble running and breathe hard or losing weight when they have a bigger gut. Is that not the truth?
Yeah.
So we see that our metabolism is based upon our gut. It says, but based on gene-based variation. But based on gene-based variation, by encoding toxins, strains can be pathogenic. Did y'all catch that?
Yeah.
So that means based upon your gene expression, so that means sometimes it's not your fault. It could be your parents' fault. It could be your grandparents' fault. It's called degenerative cells. So based upon that, it can change the nature of your bacteria and change it to be pathogenic. So we have just cracked the code. You cannot catch parasites. You cannot catch sickness. All sickness is birthed and started in the gut. And based upon the gut, it is based upon the nature and level of your bacteria. And that's what it comes down to. If you make your bacteria into acidic levels or imbalanced levels, you birth parasites. If you actually create good bacteria or good gut microbiota or microbiome, you actually sterilize or make the actual bacteria that could turn parasitic dormant. Oh my gosh. So you see, what it's come down to is not all. Now, and I'm not saying that they can't birth it through vaccines, but really what they're doing is they're changing the nature and dynamic of your bacteria, which your bacteria births pathogens or parasites. Talk to me. What y'all think?
It makes sense.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I second the statement she just made.
This blowing your mind, ain't it?
Absolutely.
Sayosha, have you ever heard this before? If I remember correctly, I think you said you took classes dealing with biology and human nature. Have you heard this before?
No, they don't ever go in this deep on the gut, or you know what I'm saying, they don't go in on it like that.
Well, you see, this ain't me. This the scientists bringing this information out. This the scientists. Let's go. So it says the ability of bacteria to perform horizontal gene transfer, the transfer of a gene between living bacteria. So that means these bacterias, peep this, they're exchanging gene expressions. So in other words, where do we know in human nature where we express or we exchange gene expressions or we exchange DNA? Where do we know this is common in human nature at? During what time?
You said, can you repeat the question?
So my question is, right, they're saying that this bacteria is able to perform a horizontal gene transfer. So they're able to exchange DNA. They're able to exchange genes or other bacteria. I said, where in human nature do we know that we as humans, we exchange DNA or we exchange bacteria or we exchange gene transfer?
Reproduction.
There we go. So they're showing you that these living organisms, these microorganisms called by bacteria or microbiomes, they are actually reproducing in your gut. So a person is not just fat anymore. They actually have what you call a swollen gut. And the gut is swollen due to the reproduction of what? Parasites. Parasites. See, when we make it very simple, we'll realize how much we have been self-inflicting and self-destructing ourselves. It says this: introduce intrastrain variations that is not captured by marker gene-based taxonomical analysis. However, it is an important source of functional variations as seen with the ability of bacteria to transfer antibiotic-resistant genes. Y'all see that? So they're saying that your bacteria is actually what produces your antibodies. So far we realize that not only can bacteria in a negative way produce pathogens or parasites, but in a good way, it actually is in control of your metabolism. It actually produces good or bad bacteria based upon genetic reproduction. And also, it creates your antibodies. So that means your gut is the head chief in charge. See, when we hear things like, I have this gut feeling or this intuition, it starts in the gut, because your gut is a brain, and the brain which we're talking about is the idea or expression of your bacteria. It is your bacteria that is talking to you. It is your bacteria that is expressing itself, called the brain and gut axis, from the brain in the skull down to the brain in the gut. It is your gut that's expressing these thoughts and expressions, which means, we'll go into this too, it is your gut that is in charge of your hormones. It is your gut that's in charge of your hormones. Let's see another part I want to share. So let's get it. The role of the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome plays an essential role in the health of its hosts, humans as well as animals. Its key functions are related to metabolism, immune system education, and what educates the immune system? The thymus gland. So we're dealing with the thymus gland, we're dealing with the defense mechanism of the body, we're dealing with the digestive system. So you're telling me my digestive system, my so-called immune system, and me breaking down my nutrients starts in my gut? Yes. Everything starts in the gut. Its key functions related to metabolism, immune system education and regulation, and protection against pathogen invasion. If not for the gut microbiome, the human body will lack several nutrients, including vitamins and amino acids. Among the essential roles of the gut microbiome is the capacity for fermentation of non-digestible fibers. So this is another thing too we're going to talk about. Your gut is actually only really able to break down the most foods do we know that ferment the most? Anybody can answer.
Sorry, you were going out on my end. What'd you say?
I was asking, what foods ferment the most?
I want to say meat.
Nope. Let me read what the
Can you say
definition
the
of
beginning of that?
Yeah.
Can you say like the beginning, like before you ask the question, like the information that you said first?
got you. So what we was reading was, it said among the essential roles of the gut microbiome is the capacity for fermentation of non-digestible fibers. So it's saying that the capacity for the gut is able to break down foods that fermentate.
I would guess Fruits.
Here we go. Fruits is the highest fermented type of food.
I feel like I could feel it when I eat fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could feel that process more.
Think about it. When you eat pineapples, what's the first thing you start to feel in your gut? You start to feel it breaking down. You start to feel like almost not in a burning sensation, but you start to feel movement in your gut because it's starting to ferment. And fermentation is not actually bad. Fermentation is actually what helps you eliminate out the body because it actually yields a sort of acidic nature to burn off things, which shows you that not all acidic foods is bad. It's just really about the nature and complexity of the food that makes it bad. Because when you read the definition of fermentation, it literally says this: it is a process in which sugars are used to generate energy for living cells. Let me say it again. It is a process in which sugars are used to generate energy for living cells. So if that is the case, y'all, if what we're seeing is that the gut precisely is better off breaking down foods that ferment, we can now declare by scientific fact that what is the best food for us to eat?
Fruit.
Which shows you that we are created naturally to eat what, y'all?
Fruit.
Am I making this up?
No.
This is what we see here. So it says these fibers are nutrients for a group that produces short-chain fatty acids. The most important short-chain fatty acids produced are acetates, prominates, and butyrates, of which acetates is the most abundant. Butyrates, I said that all wrong the first time. Butyrates is an important energy source for the cells that make up the inner lining of the human colon, called colonocytes. And a lack of short-chain fatty acids is believed to play a major key role in many microbiome-related issues, such as leaky gut and local inflammation. So we see right here that there's a certain mineral or certain chemical that even your colon is made of that helps break it down in your colon. And when your colon is not receiving this certain chemical, it plays a major role in leaky gut and inflammation. So if I had to pick anything outside of fruit that is really the best diet for us, let me see who knows cultural food. What cultural food has the best fermented food or eats they naturally eat fermented foods? Let's see who's been traveling. Just take a guess.
I'm scared to guess. But I'll say greens.
No, what culture? What culture? What's
What
the diet?
culture?
Yeah.
Are you does like Caribbean culture? Is that what you're?
Yeah, but Caribbean culture, they get their cultural foods from another culture. And believe it or not, it's our culture. I want to see if y'all can pinpoint it though.
I don't know.
So what's the question again?
What culture eats the most fermented foods?
Because if you're saying that fruits gives the most fermentation, then it's a culture that eats a lot of fruit, right?
Yeah, that's one for sure. But I was saying the culture outside of fruits that eat a lot of fermented food. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Middle Eastern culture. The Eastern culture, they eat what they call a Mediterranean diet.
Okay, yeah.
If
They
I
got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, because most of their foods are seasoned with what? Herbs.
Oh.
Bitter herbs at that. So it actually builds up good microbiota in the body when you eat that type of diet. So if I had to choose any diet that's closely related outside of fruits that fits our gene expression or bacterial expression, it would be Mediterranean food. So but that's for a whole nother conversation. Because that's nothing but fresh food. And I ain't talking about the Mediterranean, what you see today on Main Street. I'm talking about real Mediterranean food. Real Mediterranean food. So it says this. The butyrate has been linked to several important functions, such as the ability to induce apoptosis of colon cancer cells and activation of intestinal gluconeogenesis, which is relevant for energy balance and diabetes. Also, propionate is important for glucose homeostasis as it regulates glucogenesis in the liver and is involved in satiate signaling. Finally, acetate plays an important role in the regulation of the metabolism in your extra intestinal tissues, including cholesterol metabolism and lipogenesis. So we see the gut plays a major role on our homeostasis or our demise. Okay? It said the microbiota in the human gut colonizes all available niches and thereby protects the host, by competing for the space with potentially pathogenic microorganisms. A balance, so literally this bacteria colonizes your body. So write this down. You have 150 cells. This is what my teacher taught me. And when I started doing my research, I found out this was facts. You have 150 trillion cells. 50 trillion cells are of your own. They're called human cells. 100 trillion cells are called bacteria cells. I'm going to say it again. 50 trillion cells are yours. It's called human cells. 100 trillion cells are bacteria cells, which necessarily does not belong to you. They are actually there to help you. The ratio is there's what was it? There's 10 bacterial cells to one human cell. That's the ratio. So if that's the case, where should we really be focusing our health on the most?
The bacteria, the microbiome.
So I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Is bacteria bad?
No, because then we'd be bad.
Is germs bad?
No.
Is mucus bad?
No.
But what makes these things bad?
What the host is putting inside their body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but most importantly, what?
An imbalance of them.
There
an
we
imbalance
go.
Body.
Okay, yeah.
Go. It's all about balance, family. That's what this is about. We cracked the code. We could be done right here. We cracked the code. That's all this is about. It's about imbalance. It's about imbalance. So let's move to the next article. So this one is called Your Gut is Directly Connected to Your Brain by a newly discovered neuron circuit. So I want y'all to see this. This is a beautiful picture, by the way. Y'all see this? All this intertwined right here. You see the gold veins that they call nerve stems. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
All throughout. So it says The human gut is lined with more. It says the human gut is lined with more than 100 million nerve cells. I'm gonna say it again. The human gut is lined with more than 100 million nerve cells. I'm gonna say it again. The human gut is lined with more than 100 million nerve cells. It is practically a brain unto itself. And indeed, the gut actually talks to the brain. You see that? I always tell y'all, when it comes to sickness, if there's one thing wrong, there's what?
Something wrong elsewhere.
Something wrong elsewhere. But we see the opposite of this. If one is in communication, it has to be communicating with something else, correct?
Right.
Has to. So we actually see the gut and the brain have an actual relationship. They're what we call in the Hebraic tongue, they're echad. They're one. They are one. They come as a package deal. You can't have one without the other. And they actually work together and they have communications with one another. You see that? Think about this. If we're looking at it from what's the first brain, what's the second brain, right? Who tells who that they're hungry?
The gut.
The gut to the brain.
Who tells who that I'm having intuition that this is a bad feeling?
The gut to the brain too.
What is the usual first sign that something's going wrong in the body?
The gut.
Stomach ache. The stomach ache. So we see the main communicator, the one who produces the most messages, is the gut. And that's not by any reason. It's because most of your nerve stems or your nerve cells is in the gut. It's not spread out throughout the body and it's mostly in your brain. Most of your nerve cells, most of your nervous system is in your gut. Look at this. It's in your gut. It's right here. All this is a nervous system. This is all what your nerve stems and cells look like right here. It's throughout everything. But most of it is in the gut, which means it's the gut that's communicating with everything else. But it has to be in agreement with the brain to determine what message they want to send to the body. So it said, indeed, the gut actually talks to the brain, releasing hormones into the bloodstream. So that means if somebody's blood is going bad, we can then say, what else is wrong now? If somebody's blood is not on a good pH level, we can now determine that they're also having issues where in the body.
Their gut.
Their gut. If somebody's having a metabolism issue, they're having a hypoactive thyroid, which means that they're having trouble losing weight, or they're having a hyperactive thyroid, which means they're having trouble gaining weight. We do know it's a thyroid problem, but we now can also say, because we understand the body now, that they're also having a problem where?
In the gut.
Because all roads lead where, y'all?
In the gut.
In the gut. Y'all got it. I don't even need to teach y'all no more. Go out and heal people, y'all.
I need to heal myself and my family first. Like, I'm stuck.
But now I'm giving y'all practical foundation to know at the end of the day, no matter what's going on, and you're going to see, no matter what's going on, whether you got cancer, diabetes, whether you're dealing with jaundice, whatever, you're dealing with any type of brain disease, we know now that we have to attack what first?
The gut.
The gut. Somebody have allergies, where do we need to attack?
The gut.
The gut. If somebody's having anxiety, where do we need to attack?
The gut.
If somebody's dealing with depression, where do we need to attack?
The gut.
The gut is the main thing we need to focus on.
Okay.
And what you will see is, even when it comes to anxiety, which is also produced by the adrenal gland, producing too much cortisol and adrenaline, which is also dumped in the blood, or depression due to the pineal gland not secreting enough serotonin and melatonin, you will see that all this is deal with terrible gut balance. I don't care if you're skinny. You're dealing with anxiety, you have terrible gut balance. So it says this: releasing hormones into the bloodstream now over the course of about 10 minutes tell us how hungry it is, or that we shouldn't have eaten an entire pizza. But a new study reveals the gut has a much more direct connection to the brain through a neural circuit that allows it to transmit signals, oh my gosh, in mere seconds. The findings could lead to the new treatments of obesity, eating disorder, depression, and autism, all of which have been linked to a malfunctioning gut. I'm trying to tell y'all, I've given you the key of healing. Not me, but learning this, we found the key of healing. This is the key of healing. You heal the gut, you heal everything. Now, that don't mean you need to repair it, that you don't have to repair other things. You do have to go repair your DNA. You do have to repair the blood. You do have to repair the adrenal glands and the kidney. But ultimately, if you start to repair and heal the gut, you already start the journey of healing everything else. Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
It said the study reveals a new set of pathways that use gut cells to rapidly communicate with the brainstem, says Daniel Drucker, a clinical scientist who studies gut disorders at the Lunenfeld-Tamboon Research Institution in Toronto, Canada, who was not involved with the work. Although many questions remain before the clinical implication become clear, he says this is a cool new piece of the puzzle. In 2010, neuroscientist Diego Bohorquez of Duke University of Durham, North Carolina, made a startling discovery while looking through his electron microscope. Enteroendocrine cells, which stud the lining of the gut. Here y'all go. So you're telling me the endocrine cells, it actually sits and is in the gut lining. It says this: and produce hormones that spur digestion and suppress hunger, had foot-like protrusions that resemble the synapses neurons used to communicate with each other. So if y'all don't know what this is talking about, they're saying that these are the same neurons that they have found in the brain. Bohorquez knew that endocrine cells could send hormonal messages to the central nervous system, but he also wondered whether they could talk to the brain using electrical signals the way that neurons do. If so, they would have to send signals through the vagus nerve, which travels from the gut to the brainstem. And what they have found, keep in mind, that was from 2010. What they found in 2018 is there's something called a brain-gut axis. And based upon this, yes, the gut can send neurons to the brain. So you telling me my melanin neurotransmitters start in my gut? Yes. Are you saying really the messengers and that gut intuition and that feeling that I feel all really does stem from my gut and I ain't crazy? Yes. Are you saying all disease and healing starts in the gut? Yes. I'm saying all that. I'm saying everything, all that. It is your defense mechanism. It is your messenger. It is what breaks down the vital nutrients within the food. It is what communicates and trains the so-called immune, we're going to call lymphatic system. It is what helps regulate the hormones in your glands. It is what helps keep your pH level of your blood balanced. It is all that, and as they used to say, in a bag of chips, literally. It is all that. That's how important your gut is, and they're not teaching you this. They want you to focus everywhere else. Even when it comes to STDs, you got to focus on the gut. When you talk about imbalanced vaginal areas, you got to focus on the gut. Yeast infection, because yeast is what, y'all? What is yeast?
Microorganisms?
Oh, and microorganisms is what?
Bacteria? Yeast is bacteria, you saying?
Absolutely. It is.
Okay.
It is. So now if I have a yeast infection, I'm dealing with what issue, y'all?
A gut issue.
Is it simple?
You know, I
Absolutely.
was looking in one of those books and it didn't say in one of these herbal books and it didn't have yeast infections in the back. I was so confused. I was like, how?
Most STDs is yeast infections.
What? Okay, now you have lost me with that one.
I'm gonna tell you why. Let's use herpes. Herpes is what? We went over this.
It's a gosh, what's that word again? It's the
It's a worm.
yeah, that. Okay, yeah.
A worm is a what?
What, a microorganism?
Microorganism is a parasite.
Parasite.
Mhm.
Okay.
Where
Yeah,
is
that's the word I was looking
parasites
for.
birth from?
What was that?
Where is parasites birth from?
The gut.
So are we dealing with gut issues when we dealing with STDs?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, y'all got
But
it.
you said you said yeast. You said yeast infection.
Right.
Okay.
I'm saying with yeast is bacteria. It's unstable or unbalanced bacteria. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I'm saying that STDs is really yeast, what I'm saying is all of that is dealing with unbalanced bacteria.
Okay. Yeah.
Gonorrhea.
So when like these STDs is like passed on from one person to the other person, it's really just passing on bacteria, and then our gut like takes up that bacteria.
What is sperm?
So what
Bacteria.
is
What is vaginal lubrication?
yeah. It's all of that.
Okay.
It's bacteria. And we know the vagina is naturally acidic. So you make it too acidic, you start to produce yeast or you start to produce bad bacteria. So when a man is down there doing whatever, whether he, got his thing down there or using whatever his mouth, whatever the case is, this is why it's important to be very clean, because you can be exchanging bacteria, but bad bacteria. And believe it or not, that's actually what life is about, exchanging bacteria, because bacteria is information.
So are you saying that STDs start in the gut or is passed? Can you clarify that? Like the origin.
I'm declaring it starts in the gut. I'm declaring it starting in the gut, because you can't have an STD without an imbalance in your bacteria in the body. That's what I'm saying.
What if the STD like entered through, like the vaginal area or something like that?
Right.
Would that still be considered that it started in your gut?
Watch this. So you said, let me make sure you heard what you said. You said if it was through sex that she got a disease, right?
Yeah.
How does a man pass an STD? Let me ask you that question.
By entering, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean entering, but what is it that attaches the actual transmitted disease?
Bacteria.
But from what though?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So you're saying like the bad bacteria that's already in the gut latches onto the bad bacteria that comes into contact with that person.
But I'm trying to pinpoint it to you. Where is the bad bacteria coming from? From that man's penis?
The gut. So that's what you're saying.
How does a man get a woman pregnant?
The vagina. By implanting inside of her.
Implanting what?
His sperm. His
sperm. Where is sperm produced from?
I'm not sure. The gut?
The prostate gland.
Oh, okay.
All
Like
the
the
gut
answer is the gut.
answers.
The gut.
So if the semen is produced from the prostate gland, and the prostate is a gland that produces hormones, what is the ultimate hub that helps produce hormones in the body?
Okay, now the answer is the gut.
There we go. So I'm not saying legitimately gut, but I'm saying when you look at what we're dealing with, the root of it is an imbalanced gut microbiome.
Bacteria. Okay.
Here we go. You got it?
Also, when I was just thinking about when you said that about the STD example through sexual transmission, is that for her to get it in that way, in order to get rid of it, she would still have to get rid of the things in her gut, because that's what, like, starting with the gut, like that's how we even her even catching it to begin with is like her allowing, like it's like getting past her immune system and getting into her body, so then she would still have to work on her gut in order to get rid of it.
Most of the immune systems is there.
Sorry, you cut out for me.
Me too.
Oh, you're paused.
Can y'all hear
Say
me?
something now. Yeah, now I can hear you.
I said most of your immune system is where?
Is this one the gut?
So you strengthen the immune system and you bring balance to the bacteria, you're now able to properly eliminate the parasites that you created.
Right. Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Wait, can you say that sentence again?
I was saying when you dealing with STD, which actually weakens the immune system, if you repair your immune system, which is really your lymphatic system, and you're repairing the lymph nodes in your lymphatic system to help eliminate, and you start to bring balance back to your gut microbiome in your gut, you then are able to actually remove the parasites that you created.
Okay, right. Because we created it from an imbalance of bacteria, anyways.
Exactly. And our horny behinds then exchange the wrong bacteria with the wrong person.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. You created it through.
Battery is running low. Please plug in the power adapter now.
We didn't exchange our bacteria with the wrong person.
Yeah.
And you wondering why you start having suicidal thoughts and you get depressed and all that type of stuff. You done took on the bacteria of another person.
Yeah.
Because remember, bacteria is its own entity. It's a microorganism. Therefore, it's going to have its own thoughts. And if that bacteria that they exchanged was used to acidic environments, guess what it's going to create for you in your body? An
Acidic environment.
Exactly. And remember, the nature of bacteria is to colonize. It's to trade. So when you're exchanging this bacteria with a bad person, they're not that bacteria is going in to colonize everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get down to this, what is this really about, y'all?
Bacteria.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm.
That's it.
Can I ask a question that always stumps me?
Yes.
It is, and I don't know why it stumps me. It seems so simple, but I just don't know that. I just don't know how to answer it. So basically, let's say, so every time I go to say, okay, so we need to start with the gut, we need to cleanse the gut and stuff, and here are the herbs for that. Then my husband always says to me, okay, well, after we cleanse the gut, then we need to make sure that we replace all the bacteria that we removed with good bacteria.
Yep.
And so how are we going to do that? And then I'm always stumped on that. I don't know why.
Great question. Don't be stumped on it. I have to answer for you. There are food. Now keep in mind, he said we have to replace it with good bacteria. Good bacteria. Now remember, if bacteria is nothing also but fungus, what foods yield fungus or bacteria?
Right. So this is the mushroom answer, right?
Oh wait. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. Because you have stuff like lion's mane, which helps with depression. And we have found out today that depression starts where?
In the gut.
We have reishi mushrooms. What reishi mushrooms helps with calmness, which helps with people with anxiety. We found out today that anxiety is yielded from where?
The gut.
Oh, portobello mushrooms, which helps with focus. And we know that focus is dealing with the serotonin, and serotonin is 95 produced where?
Is in the gut.
Oh, so you got your answer.
Okay.
So, sorry, never mind.
Did you answer your own question, or you gonna hold it?
I'm gonna hold it, but kinda, yeah.
What was your question?
It was just like basically putting together what y'all just said.
Okay. Good. So did you get that, Ariella?
Yeah, I got that. I think it's kind of funny because when I was thinking about it just now before you gave me the answer again, because I already had that answer in my mind, but I didn't know that was the answer. I was thinking that a lot of times we approach things the same way, like when we're transferring lifestyles, we approach things the same way as we did in the Western system, whereas like if somebody took antibiotics, like that's a different situation. If somebody took antibiotics, then you would have to replace the bacteria.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking.
In the medical field actually destroys the gut bacteria.
Exactly. And then they also say, oh yeah, wait, no, you're the one that had us watch that video on bacteria where they were saying that people that take antibiotics, then like 6 months to a year later, then they start to suffer from depression because of those antibiotics that they took way back when. And
there
then
we go.
also, huh?
So there we go. You putting it together.
Yeah, and then also let's say that somebody has like a urinary tract infection and then they go get antibiotics, then like 6 months to a year later they're gonna have another urinary tract infection because basically all you did was kill a whole bunch of bacteria and you still are imbalanced. So then here comes the same imbalance come to bite you in the butt 6 months to a year later. So it's the same cycle.
Same cycle. That's all it is. It's the same exact cycle, y'all. Same exact cycle. So let's see. What's something else I want to show you? So I wanted to show y'all so y'all can see yourself. This is from the Cleveland Clinic, right? So let's talk about serotonin. Serotonin is a chemical that carries messages between nerve cells in the brain and throughout your body. Now, we already identified that these messengers is getting sent through who?
Bacteria.
Right, which is your what? Is in your gut. So these are messages between your gut and your brain, right? It says serotonin plays a major role in such body functions as mood. And mood, we know mood is what? Hormones. Sleep. So now your mood is dealing with hormones, right? So we talking about the pituitary gland now. Your sleep and wake patterns. Which gland are we dealing with now? Who remembers? Your sleep and wake circadian rhythm.
Oh, I know that. That's the pineal gland.
Okay.
Pineal digestion, which your digestive system starts where?
In the mouth.
Nausea, which nausea is where?
Nausea.
It starts
The
where?
gut.
The gut. Wound healing. And anybody know what wound healing deals with?
I don't.
Red blood cells. When they clot up, that's part of the healing. Your red blood cells is really sending first aid to patch up and heal that wound and close it off quickly. So now we're dealing with the red blood cell. We're dealing with the blood, and we're dealing with the liver. We got the bone health, and what's produced in the bone? Which mineral?
Calcium.
Calcium, potassium, blood clotting, which we went over, and your sexual desires, your vaginal area, and your penis. It says serotonins that are low, are too low, or too high can cause physical and psychological health problems, y'all. So if serotonin is a main factor and key role in the function of the host, we are now still going back that means the gut has a major role on your hormones and your mood, your sleep and awake patterns, your digestive system, the nausea, the wound healing, the bone health, blood clotting, even your sexual desires. Because what I found in my research is when I have to heal a man because his penis ain't getting hard, not only do I have to heal the prostate, but I got to get their gut together. You see how important your gut is now? All these herbalists, all these naturopaths wants to focus on blood. They want to focus on the glands. But if you actually focus on the bacteria and bringing balance to the bacteria, you will actually deal with all that along the way of healing. It said the natural, as a neurotransmitter, serotonin carries messages between nerve cells in your brain, your nervous central system, your central nervous system, and throughout your body, your peripheral nervous system. These chemical messengers tell your body how to work. 95% of serotonin is found where, y'all?
The gut.
The gut. It says serotonin plays several roles in your body, including influencing memory. So serotonin helps with your learning? Because most people who got a swollen gut, believe it or not, they have trouble remembering things. They have trouble keeping things in their mind. Serotonin is also in charge of your happiness, which means serotonin plays a major part in helping release dopamine, because dopamine is the chemical reaction for happiness, as well as regulating body temperature, sleep, sexual behavior, and hunger. Lack of enough serotonin is thought to play a major role in depression, anxiety, mania, and other health conditions. Most of the serotonin found in your body is in your gut. About 90%, which is really 95%, of serotonin is found in the cell lining of your gastro tract. So you see, we focus too much, and I've done this in the past too. If you having sleep patterns or sleep or wake issues, focus on your pineal gland, circadian rhythm. But even when you get down to the system of the circadian rhythm, it's really dealing with the cycle of your gut. It's really dealing with the cycle of your gut, not your pineal gland. It helps because the sun helps secrete more serotonin through the pineal gland, but ultimately, most of the secretion of the serotonin happens in the gut. So it says it's released into your blood circulation and absorbed by the platelets. About 10% is produced in so that kills that whole argument. 10% is produced in your brain. So that shows you that your pineal gland is not majorly in charge of producing serotonin. It's your gut. Serotonin is made from the essential. Now, this is very, very important to understand. It says serotonin is made from the essential acid, tryptophan, and essential amino acid means it can't be made by your body. It has to be made from the foods you eat. Class is done. Class is done. That's it. Y'all see that? So what actually assists with producing so much serotonin, or what we're really going to call is gut microbiota, is the foods that you eat. So if you're eating complex foods like these gnarly grains or these gnarly beans or these gnarly meats, right? Or dairy that's producing mucus from a cow, you're not able to yield these essential amino acids because your body is struggling to even break it down, because the enzymes is only created to break down simple structured amino acids. So this is bigger than somebody just telling y'all to be vegan or be plant-based. Your body is identifying. I don't care. Let's say this thing was flipped and it was meat that literally produced this, and we were created to eat meat. I will be telling you the same thing about meat. You need to eat more meat then, because that's what's going to help you. But the reality is your body is not created to break those things down. And when you try to eat these things, you are struggling to yield the vital nutrients or essential amino acids that's helped to produce good bacteria or serotonin so that you can produce the highest level of vitality. This is not about a trend. This is not about religion. This is not about how we feel. This is really about how your bacteria feel. You want to be honest. The proof is in the gut. You know, they say proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the gut. They're trying to make you focus on everything except the gut. That's why they put so much emphasis on the immune system, and they try to separate the immune system from the gut. But you cannot even have an immune system without the gut. And really, the immune system is a lymphatic system. And most of your lymph nodes is found in your gut. So let's see what problems are associated with low serotonin levels. Depression, other mood problems, we know, talking about hormones, anxiety, sleep problems, digestive problems, suicide. Are you telling me that we can find people who commit suicide have low serotonin levels or really bad bacteria levels? Yes. Obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, or what we're going to call post-traumatic slave syndrome. Because what came with the post-traumatic slave syndrome is a post-traumatic diet, stress diet. Panic disorders, schizophrenia. But I thought schizophrenia was in the mind. Schizophrenia is really in the gut. Phobias. Scientists still have a lot to learn about the role of serotonin in the body and diseases. What causes serotonin levels, low serotonin levels? A low serotonin usually has more than one cause. Technically, serotonin levels are because your body isn't producing enough serotonin, or your body isn't effectively using serotonin. This can happen if you do not have enough serotonin receptors, or the receptors aren't working as they should. So what would help increase this? Eating more tryptophan containing foods, which is your fruits and your vegetables and your nuts. Getting more sunlight. And we know taking certain supplements, we're going to say herbs that produce good bacteria, like sweet wormwood, like licorice root, like reishi mushroom, like quassia trips, like red clover bud. Getting more exercises also lowers your stress levels. Y'all see that? So with that being said, With that being said, right now, this is the end of the course. I just wanted to show y'all exactly how the gut and brain are one. And really, at the end of the day, it is your gut that will yield life or death, or sickness or health. So with that being said, I'm going to open the floor for any questions, comments. Tell me, what did y'all get from that? What did y'all get? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
What did y'all get from that?
I think for me, I think it's all about, like you said, like finding a balance in the body. And that balance should be a focus on us balancing the bacteria in our body.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that all of the diseases in the body, or that we would get, its origin is the gut and the microbiota of the gut.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Chrissy? Rashad, I see. Oh, Ariella, she. Ariella, you back on? Ariella. We got you. You here? Ariella, you here? All right, we'll wait till she get back on. Anybody else?
Yeah. For me, yeah, all of this, man, is eye opening, man. So I'm taking it all in. Definitely looking forward to going back to, watch this message again. But like I said, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And it's like everything is simple really, but we're the ones that, complicate things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not difficult to get healthy and heal. But like I said, with us being programmed all of these years, we've been thinking that it's so tough and you think it's nearly impossible and all these different things. But like I said, learning this information definitely changes your perspective.
Right. Good. Good. Chris, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
What you got from it? Talk to us.
Honestly, it just kind of reminds me of like how back in my athletic sports days, they used to say, well, the core is the center of everything. And it kind of relates to the body as well when we look at how we do with foods and disease. And it's amazing how they've always tried to cure disease with medicine and bypass the fact that any mental disorders or disease or anxiety is associated with the gut. So it just really amazes me because so often people think that things like, schizophrenia or depression are things that can't be, cured or healed through foods. And we're just so quick to take medicine for it. So it amazes me.
Mm-hmm. Ariella, you there?
Yeah.
We close now with comments and questions. So you got any comments or questions on what we went over today?
Um, Not really. I mean, I was thinking about how I used to drink coffee, and during the daytime, like if I would drink coffee, then at night I would get like really scared, like extremely scared, like somebody was outside gonna hurt me or something like that. And it reminds me of the serotonin levels that we were just talking about. Because as soon as I stopped drinking coffee, I was fine.
Mm. See, we go to get them jitteries. Good. With that being said, family, I hope y'all took from it, even from the beginning, sharing that when it comes down to it, for us to really just live in the optimum health, we're gonna have to go back to the ancient path. We have to study our culture. We have to study what did our ancestors do in these situations, like Joseph, when there was a famine. And there is a famine. There literally is a famine in America right now that people don't know. So we have to be able to position ourselves to prepare for what's coming. And at the end of the day, get with tribe-like people, like-minded people, where we can yield this type of environment where we can still live a healthy and full life, y'all. So with that being said, if y'all all good, for those who may be watching recording, I hope y'all took a lot of notes and got something from it. If y'all have any questions, you can email us, and you know, we'll get to y'all as soon as possible. But at the end of the day, y'all, I think we just killed it. We just killed a lot of theories. We just killed a lot of doctrines that they put out there. At the end of the day, all disease and all healing starts in the gut. So with that, I say shalom, shalom, family, peace, love, and balance to everybody. Peace, peace, family.
Hello.
Shalom, shalom, family.